All right, time for a coffee talk. Let's have a chat. We'll see if our internet, I was just saying, we'll see if our internet connection can survive being moved from one area to the other or whatever. Yeah, there we go. Let's chat, friends. All right, get the door here. Get the door, close the door, walk down the stairs. It's good to see you on here, Sean Tierney. Some other folks joining in. We'll go through the ghostly veil, past all the transitional aspects of a morning. Good morning, good morning. Well, I've been up since early, which is nice. Since COVID, I have not been as early a riser as, let's just get real. Since I shut down the business, I've been in pretty heavy recovery mode, just focused on rest and recombolating my mind. I think that's a White Stripes lyric. Well, this morning we're going to do a topical, and I think the best way to do it, I'm always trying to figure out the best way to do something, is I want to read off a list of topics that I have I've gathered up. I gathered up a list of topics for us to discuss. I'm just going to read it to you, just straight up. Read you this topic list. It's possible that some of it hasn't updated yet to my iPad. You know, I got the iPhone and the iPad, and they talk to each other through the mystical interface, something about quantum physics, Elon Musk, and increasing the longevity of human cell regeneration. So let's go over to the oh, I'm walking backward. Let's go over to the shaping spot here, and let's see what's shaking on this list I've got of there's yesterday's cup. That's a good cup. Keeps it hot, long time. Mike Vieser. I see some folks' names popping up on here, and boy, am I ever glad you're here with me, friends. And friends, enemies, and frenemies. Where would we be without those? Thanks for being here this morning. It is still technically morning. I had to do a bunch of errands. Let's see. I'm trying to get the feet on this thing set right. That's the cost of doing business as an independent. Your gear is jacked. Do I want better gear? Whatever, man. I just want something to work. And so often it doesn't work smooth, but it does work. And let's give thanks. So, oh man, is there a lot going on out in the big old world? We have got so many topics that are coming up in the Makers Movement, and I'm eager to have a seat with you and look through them. So I'm gonna move my cups and stuff over here, and I'm going to pull up my master list of topics. Let's see if it's updated on here. Boom. I exit it. I open it up again. Oh yeah, looks like it's updated since 9:54 a.m. So I'm just gonna read through it. For stacking your press. That's item number 1 we're gonna talk about sometime this year. Rolling technique and roller size for glue application. We're gonna talk about that, probably along with its corollary, which is that age-old comparison of automated glue rolling machine and all the prep that goes in. Look, I'm already starting to talk about it. Let's go to number 3. Number 3, wedging and shimming for making W concaves, making spoon noses, and making tri-tails. We're going to explore the limits of that tech and look at what we can do without having to build new molds. Number 4, smush and yield. We're talking about the compression rate of maple under pressure. Well, we aren't. We're going to be talking about that. These are all things that are coming up. I've got some expansive notes you can see on that one there, pulled from the Makers Movement. 5, mold release for concrete molds. When you're building a mold, how do you get the 2 concrete pieces to pum-pum-pum, you know? How do you get them to pum-pum-pum at the end? You know, come apart. Not all of us, not many of us, but some of us have had that feeling you get when you've poured a concrete mold onto a concrete mold and they're stuck together. And you're saying, oh, will they come apart? Well, here's how to know. Yes, look at me. Number 6, screen printing frames, contoured versus flat oversized. That's right, screen printing on decks, tricky stuff, contoured frames versus flat oversized frames. Which coatings do we use? Number 7. From my friend Sam Elliott, that one's coming up. We'll talk about coatings. Polyacrylic, acrylic, polyurethane. What is what? What does it mean? Baltic birch plywood, the 3-ply you can buy at the I want to say the package store, but that's where we get liquor. Number 9, glass laminates and fiber technologies. Number 10, drilling jigs and techniques. Focus on lo-fi, low-tech, and simple upscaling in production. Number 11, plastic resin versus PVA glue. We're going to talk about plastic resin, which you mix up from a can, versus PVA glue, which you buy in a big old jug. Number 12, the crosshairs. Looking into being a public person. Well, we did that one actually. My last video yesterday was about being a public person, and we'll return wave after wave to these topics again and again, but we veneer layup orientations. Long grain, core, face, cross grain, diagonal grain layups. What do we do with pinholes? What do we do with big old chuck holes? What do we do with weird wavy grains? What about wobbly plies? We're going to talk about veneer layup and veneer orientations. Number 14, measure up the make. That is on the people want to know the measurements of the board I made yesterday, and I don't even know them. I don't even know. I made it without measuring it. I was like, let's just stretch it out as wide as it can go, see where we wind up. Number 15, we're going to talk about lo-fi graphics as a maker mark. Number 16, 1,000 times vid on warping. Warping is going to be a major topic. Major topic. We could do 1,000 vids on warping and still not have our heads wrapped around the very emotional experience of rolling glue, pressing a board, finishing it off, and winding up with a warp in it. Oh, it just burns our butts. Burns my biscuits. Number 17, explore the reasoning behind a statement that was said, a very good statement by a really good dude that was said on the, is the bottleneck theory of graphics that, quote, full-length graphic tech is what's holding us back, is the idea, the way I think I'm paraphrasing or quoting it. And there's a nice bit of screen grabbage from that conversation that's going to be great. We're going to talk about full-length deck graphics and the role of graphics and the relationship of the Makers Movement to the relatively high-end full-length graphic market. Number 18, skateboarding has not had independent media for decades until YouTube. The corporate industry, censorship, and cancel culture working all the way. I could just, that freaking thing. Okay, good, we're back. The corporate industry control of skate media was always married incestuously to the production branding, and that's not healthy for the consumer, for the community, for the culture. So now that YouTube exists, we've seen YouTube blow up with skate content. I want to say more about this, but that was number 18 on a list that I was working through. And that's the last one. That's number 18 on a big list of things that we're going to be covering. one at a time, two at a time. Two of them are related to each other pretty tightly about lo-fi graphics and full-length graphics. But this here is my list as we go in the Makers Movement, and also you can direct message me questions, concepts, things you'd like to hear talked about. But for now, I'm going to cover one of them. I'm going to do a measure through on that board I made, that goof around that I made out of a warped deck. So I've got it here. Let's push in your chairs. And this is that one that I made. And I think that you will want to look at this a little more clearly. So I'm going to tilt you down a wee bit more. There we are. So my approach on making this one was simple. I just wanted to take the uncut and I wanted to take this out as far as I could, because the real usable width of this board is really going to be a blend of this width and this width. So the width, and centering one of these is fascinating because of all this is not a symmetrical board. I used a symmetrical template, okay, but there's, and on other makes with this template, now you can see I did not use this template just like normally. It doesn't fit. If I put this here and that there, see the template doesn't fit. I did a three-point rock on the template for the three different things I wanted. I wanted a certain tail, wanted a certain width at the front, behind the front truck, and I wanted a certain width at the nose, but they weren't numbers. I just wanted as wide as I could get it. And so let's measure it up. First we'll need to grab us one of these things. That's your basic. Let's start with these dimensions. The tail is 7 1/4. Now this I did know, and the nose should be 7, and the nose is 7. I like that. Tail width here is 8 1/8. Inside width here is 8 3/4. And the width here is 8 flat. So 8, 8 3/4, 8 1/8. At its widest point, should be right here, it's 9 and a half, 9 1/2. And this one is 9 5/8. So this is actually a little wider than these are. And that's just the way that this cookie crumbled out. Again, this is a warped board. I also will be talking about why it's a warped board. Yeah, the measurements, you can really sink into that as a rabbit hole, and it's a good one. I mean, why not be obsessed with measurements? Chris Gurley, I see your comment on there. This is a warped board, and this one worked for a very special and obvious reason. And it's funny because as time goes on, see, that's quite a terrible warp. This warp may actually relax out, and because it was caused, I'll show you where it was caused. Let's see, which one is it? Which one are you? You're blue, yellow, and blue. Blue, yellow, red, and blue. Oh, I see on this one. It's actually going to be this. Sorry I'm digging through so much over here. I wish you could see me. All right, on this board, when it was pressed up, it's not going to show very well. The extra, one side had more stuff on it than the other. This doesn't show that at this end very well. This end shows it a little better. There's a lot of extra fluff on one end. And I didn't, one side justified it, so the extra was all on the other side, and I got a warp. So that's a fact. And especially since it cured for 100 and, let's see, 365 days plus 180, 480, 405. It cured for like 500 days. So that was a long time. Pretty ridiculous. So, this has been a good talk. I think we had a good time. I'm going to sign off now and probably be back at you really soon with some more. I have something very interesting to talk about because something really cool happened in skateboarding media that I really liked, and I'm going to talk about it because I like talking about what I like, and I like you. Thanks, friends. Peace be with your spirits, and I will catch you on the flipper.